Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Zafran bin Noor. My metric number is 20192498 I am from IC105CB. Right now, I will explain about the introduction of this topic. In general, Islam has 5 pillars that are the responsibility of every Muslim to fulfill, and one of them is Zakat. Zakat is an important institution in the socio-economic framework of Islam, considering that the injunction of Salat is frequently followed by the Zakat in the Quran. In Malaysia, a respective state authority who is directly involved in Zakat management will continuously carry out the following errands, which are collecting the Zakat, promoting the Zakat, and distributing in an organized manner to those in need, as described in Sharia. Today in Malaysia, we can see an increase in the efficiency of Zakat management since 1990s, where it was the first time SIRC was incorporated. Do you know what is SIRC? Well, SIRC is State Islamic Regional Council, which is a body that manages Zakat in Malaysia and plays an important role to promote the solidity of socio-economic by Zakat collecting activities. Without wasting our time, let's move to the other subtopic. Now, I will explain about definition of Zakat. What is Zakat? Zakat is where a people contribute his or her wealth by specific requirements to the beneficiaries who qualify to get it. Zakat literally means grow in goodness, increase, purifying, or making pure. Besides, the act of giving zakat means purifying one's wealth to gain Allah's blessing to make it grow in goodness. It is because one of the most important principles of Islam is that all things belong to God, and that wealth is therefore held by human beings in trust. That's all for the definition of zakat. Let's move to the next presenters.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Duratul Husna binti Fariza. My metric number 2019439838 and I am from class IC110-5CA. Right now I will presenting about types of zakat. There are 2 types of zakat. The first one is zakat fitrah. Zakat fitrah, also known as zakat badaniyah, is a sub-zakat that obligatory on every Muslim. Zakat fitrah must be paid in the month of Ramadan because of the futur, which is breaking and ending fast. Zakat fitrah is necessary in the 2nd year of the hijrah, which also happen to be the year when fasting is obligatory during the month of Ramadan. Zakat fitrah must be issued if you can afford it and meet the zakat institution requirement. The second type of zakat is zakat property. Zakat property is obligatory when reach the nisab. Zakat property is divided into 8 types, namely zakat on income, zakat on saving, zakat on business, zakat on gold, zakat on silver, zakat on stock, zakat on agriculture, and zakat on EPF.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Radifa binti Rasul. My matrix number 2019236446. I am from IC110-5CA. I will present about the general condition of zakat obligation. Zakat is a religious obligation imposed on people who meet the following criteria. For the first condition is Islam. Unbelievers are not permitted to pay zakat since it is a form of financial worship that draws a Muslim closer to Allah. Second condition is freedom. Based on this condition, we know that slaves are not required to pay zakat since they are also had their own difficulties to live. The third condition is true and stable ownership of the zakat threshold in excess of a person's basic needs such as food, clothing, and a place to live.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Sahira binti Abu Bakri. My metric number is 2019212598 and I from IC110-5CA. Now I will present about categories of zakat recipient. Islam is a comprehensive and fair religion to every creature that exists on this earth. It can be explained that zakat is an act of worship that preserves justice by distributing the collection of zakat to 8 categories that have been set in the Quran in Surah At-Taubah verse 60. Meaning of the verse is zakat expenditures are only for the poor, for the needy, and for those employed to collect zakat and bringing hearts together for Islam, and for freeing slave, and for freeing captive or slave, and for those in debt, and for the cause of Allah, and for the stranded traveller, an obligation imposed by Allah. And Allah is knowing and wisdom. Surah At-Taubah verse 60. As mentioned in the verse, there are 8 categories of zakat recipient, or as known as asnaf. The first group is the poor, fakir, which consists of people who are destitute and extremely needy to the point of having to beg for their daily food rations. Second, the needy, masakin, that can be defined as a person who are poor but have more than their basic needs but do not have the wealth of nisab. Third, zakat administrator, is a person or organisation related to zakat institutions in charge of managing and administrating zakat matters such as collection, distribution and finance of zakat. Next, slave and prisoner, rikab, which means freeing slave. In today's world, slave system has been long abolished. The interpretation, however, has been extended to the oppressed such as restricted Muslim performing their duties under a rule of a non-Muslim government. Furthermore, those whose hearts are reconciled to Islam, which is mu'alaf al-qulub, is someone who convert to Islam and have strong relationship and commitments to solidify Islam, such as providing new brothers who leave them property and family relationship. Next, the debtors, gharimin. The debtors is a person who is in debt but doesn't have resources to repay his debt. The next category is for the cause of Allah, fisabilillah, are fighters who fight in the path of Allah to advance Islam, such as those who fight to protect Islamic State from aggression or attacks from Islam's enemies. And the last category is the wayfarer, Ibnu Sabil, is a traveller who runs out their food rations while on their journey for a good cause. As it is significant to know and understand the 8 categories of zakat recipients to make sure zakat distribution system to function properly and run smoothly.
Next is role and function of zakat. The first one is zakat and saving. Some scholars believe that zakat can increase national saving, while the others not. The institution of zakat are supposed to aid in increase of private and government savings. The effects of zakat on national saving is determined by the nature of consumption function that society employ in the consumption behavior. If it corresponds to the absolute income hypothesis, the saving effect of zakat are likely to be negative.
Now, I will explain 3.2, which is zakat and investment. Is there a connection between zakat and investment? According to Abdul Aziz, zakat imposes a penalty on idle resources since the zakat will consume the idle resources in due time. This is because the wealth owner will be required to pay every year, reducing the extent of the wealth year after year until it eventually vanishes if it does not expand. This is a compelling reason to invest. Zakat also imposes a carrying cost on non-income producing assets such as jewelry, real estate, and loans, discouraging the use of funds for them. There are various types of wealth subject to zakat, and one of them is related to financial investment assets, which are investment accounts, zakat of investment funds, commodity, share murabaha funds, and so on. Besides, the rate of zakat is 2.5% if calculated on the basis of a lunar year.
Zakat and income distribution. Zakat is a societal institution that distributes resources from the better off to the less fortunate. The institution of zakat, which is an effective mechanism of required transfer payments, reinforces this distributive device. Additionally, a re-examination of existing fiqh rules in order to ensure that zakat achieves its redistributive and other aims at the quickest possible pace.
Next, I will present about zakat and poverty eradication. From different point of view, zakat also helps our country in eradicating poverty. Poverty is defined by World Bank as a person's lack of well-being, which include a wide range of issues such as low income, a lack of access to basic living facilities, malnutrition, a lack of education, and mental stress. This role and function of zakat plays an important role in ensuring national harmony. We know that poverty is one of society's most serious issues. This is because if poverty is widespread, it will lead to other issues that will affect individuals, society, and the country as well. The institution of zakat is one of the instruments established by Islam to combat and improve the societal well-being. It can be explained that zakat contributes to the flow of funds while also increasing the consumption of the poor and the needy. Furthermore, the effectiveness of zakat as a tool for poverty eradication is determined by how much of the existing poverty gap is funded by zakat revenue. Hence, zakat is the most effective way for eradicating poverty and reducing income inequality. This was demonstrated in the early days of Islam when none of the poor were eligible to receive zakat and there was no other system available at that time to eradicate poverty.
Although zakat administration in Malaysia has been institutionalized, this doesn't mean that it is consistently synchronized and coordinated among the country's states. The power to administer zakat in each Malaysian state is governed by the state constitution and laws. Each state has its own enactment on Islamic Affairs Administration which contains general zakat administration clauses.
Next, I'm gonna talk about 4.2 method of collection and payment of zakat in Malaysia. In zakat management, the digitization of zakat management system is expected to increase public belief. In fact, poverty reduction will improve because of digital efficiency and effectiveness in zakat management. Data zakat management system can be managed by using a database to improve and optimize the zakat collection and distribution. Digital zakat management increases the efficiency of internet service zakat management while also increasing zakat benefit to achieve community welfare and poverty reduction. This technology is also used to facilitate publics towards zakat institution by ensuring that website and social media are always updated with the latest information. Moreover, online zakat payments, e-commerce crowdfunding platforms, cashless zakat payment system, and social leverage media platform helps in increasing zakat collection. It can be explained in greater depth with digital zakat collection, allowing the zakat payers to make zakat payments using a website or application that connects with the zakat institution information system via internet and mobile phone application. In general, there has been an advancement in the zakat collection in Malaysia. For instance, the Federal Territory Islamic Religious Council MAWIP method of distribution as part of zakat management in Malaysia exemplifies innovation and development. In addition, various methods of zakat payment have been introduced based in technological advances in Malaysia such as the existence of mobile zakat counter, through zakat portal and through online payment at the website provided. Hence, the development of zakat management in Malaysia is improving, particularly in terms of zakat collection and payments. Let's move to the next presenter.
Zakat revenue distribution. Zakat distribution is process or approach used to distribute zakat revenue to zakat recipient or asnaf. Zakat distribution shall provide at least a basic degree of sufficiently comfort for the receiver and his dependent. The standard of life is intended to be able meet mobilizing requirement, daruriyat and comfort hajat. Second, the submission of zakat should be based on the recipient overall situation. Lastly, create a national database of needy people and organizations that provide assistance of the federal and state level.
In conclusion, Zakat is an obligation for every Muslim, and this zakat is not something new for this ummah because it was implemented during the previous prophet as well. There are special institutions for each state that manage the collection and distribution of zakat to those involved. They have their own role and function in implementing it. Thus, sustainable administration and distribution of zakat in Malaysia is expected to be continued in ensuring the smoothness and success of Wakaf institutions in Malaysia in the future. That's all from me. Thank you.